This is Genesis, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Terrence Crawford's trainer, Bo Mack, he finally broke down how he believes the Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez fight will play out. The anticipation of Bo Mack giving his first take on how he believes the fight will play out between Canelo and Crawford is reminiscent of when he gave his first take on how he thought the Spence versus Crawford fight would play out. I'm not saying that this fight is going to look like that fight. I don't even know who's going to win this fight, but this is what Terrence Crawford's trainer, Bo Mack, had to say about the fight.
Like you say, Canelo don't, he'll stand in front of you, but he got good head movement. It does move his legs a lot, so it'd be easier to box him. I wouldn't even think about power or nothing like that. Just box him. Just add up the points as the round goes on. And then, just some side to side movement, little movement here, little movement there. Try to get him to move his feet. So he won't be set when he get ready to punch.
Do you have to fight off the back foot against Canelo if you're Bud Crawford?
I say you gotta fight on your toes. I would say that, with that side to side movement. Guys like that, man, you gotta get them to move their feet. You get in and out, side to side, head movement, feints, get them to come to you a little.
Get them to come to you a little. For those of you guys that don't understand, there is a difference between fighting on your back foot and staying on your toes, moving side to side using angles, setting up traps. And that's what he means when he says, get him to come to you a little and keep making Canelo reset. Crawford is obviously not going to fight toe-to-toe with Canelo for the entire fight because he's moving up 3 weight classes. But I will tell you this, he will fight toe-to-toe with Canelo in spurts. But depending on how much success Crawford has in the first half of this fight, he might even start to walk down Canelo in the second half of the fight. If you guys recall, there were moments in the fight where the much smaller Floyd Mayweather was walking down the much bigger Canelo Alvarez in their fight. But make no mistake about it, this is a far more difficult fight for Crawford than it was for Floyd Mayweather because Crawford is going to be at a much bigger deficit. I'm going to wrap this video up by saying this. So this clip you guys are watching right here, this is Canelo Alvarez sparring with Ronald Ellis. You guys might remember Ronald Ellis as the opponent that got knocked out by David Benavidez. He's also known as being a sparring partner with a lot of fighters, Caleb Plant and others. Now, sometimes when I play this clip, one of my Mexican viewers will say, hey, Dante, this clip was like a year old. And I replied to this one guy, I said, so that means Canelo Alvarez was 33 when he was sparring with him. So what is your point? The point he was making was obvious. He was saying, as a Canelo Alvarez fan, is yes, I know Canelo, he looks like a very flawed fighter in this clip. But the only reason he looks so flawed in this clip is because he was only 33 years old in the clip. He was basically saying the 34-year-old Canelo is way better than that version of Canelo. I just want you guys to remember, this is the same thing these fans were saying about the 23-year-old version of Canelo Alvarez when he got completely dominated by a much smaller, older Floyd Mayweather. At the end of the day, we all know that this is the exact same Canelo Alvarez that we have always been watching. Canelo has always been a fighter with some skill, has good power and good size, but has always been a very flawed fighter on the flip side, which is the reason why Crawford has the confidence that he can move up 3 weight classes and beat a Canelo Alvarez. We know that if the roles were reversed, Canelo would never move up 3 weight classes to fight a Terrence Crawford. Hell, Canelo Alvarez, he wouldn't even fight a Terrence Crawford if they were naturally the same weight. He would avoid the fight, just like he avoided Charlo and Andrade at 154 and 160, and just like he avoided David Benavidez at 168. Now, none of this guarantees that Crawford is going to win this fight. I'm going to say it again. I don't even know if Crawford is going to win this fight. It's very hard to predict a fight like this because you just don't know how different Crawford is going to be at such a high weight class. The only thing we do know for sure is if they were naturally the same weight, this would be considered an easy fight for Crawford. In fact, this would be considered a cherry pick for Crawford. If Crawford even wanted to fight Canelo, fans, and Mexican fans in particular, would be saying, why are you picking on Canelo Alvarez? Go fight someone else. You don't deserve to fight Canelo. The same things they used to say once again when Jamal Charlo and Andre was calling out Canelo at 154 and 160. Or what Mexican fans used to say to Andre Ward when Andre Ward was calling out Gennady Golovkin. The other thing that we know for sure is Crawford is a much better fighter than Jamal Charlo, who fought Canelo. Do you guys remember way before Crawford fought Spence and he kept laying out the plan? He said, I want to fight Spence, then I'm going to move up to 154 and beat Jamal Charlo. And when he was asked who is better, Terence Crawford would always say Jamal Charlo would be the easiest fight out of the two. And that says a lot when you see how easy Crawford beat Errol Spence. Now, when it comes to Canelo, he's been fighting smaller guys his entire career. And the one thing I know for sure is he definitely fights smaller guys with far more confidence. I remember when Canelo fought Cotto, and he was so much bigger than Cotto. I mean, at least about 20 pounds bigger than him the night of the fight. Matter of fact, if you look at this photo right here, you could clearly see the size difference. Canelo Alvarez, he was playing with Miguel Cotto the entire night. And I remember in this post-fight interview, Canelo, he even said something on the lines of, he was just too small to hurt me. So when you look at Cotto's size in this photo right here, this is pretty much how Crawford is going to look when he's in the ring with Canelo Alvarez on fight night. And I'm not talking about height, I'm talking about the frame. To me, that was one of Canelo's best performances against Cotto. But the difference from Cotto and Crawford is Cotto, he pretty much stands right in front of you going into the high guard. And he's the shorter fighter. That's not Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, he could do it all in the ring, and he's the same height as Canelo. What really makes Canelo so dangerous is he can make tons of mistakes in this fight. When it comes to Crawford, one big mistake can change the entire dynamic.
Of course.
I know you're serious, but I've got to ask you for the people that are watching.
Of course
Are
I'm
you
serious.
confident that that fight is a fight that you can win?
Well, I'm always confident that I can win any fight that I step foot in the ring. Canelo is a big, strong competitor. He's a great fighter. He's a future Hall of Famer. And that's what we in the game for, is to leave a legacy that will surpass our lifetime.
So you take on Canelo Alvarez. How do you take that fight on? Do you box him and move him? Do you stand in front of him? This is a Mexican warrior he punches hard. He's big. He's strong. People aren't going to doubt you because you've got the skills. They know you've got the ability. You've got the skills. This guy's got the skills and the ability. We've seen it time and time again. But he's big and strong. Are you big enough to take on this guy toe to toe and have a tear up with him?
That's why we fight. So all the questions can be answered on fight night.
Are you going to take him on though? Or are you going to box and move?
That's why we fight.
What's going to happen?
So
man?
all the questions can be answered fight night. I don't want to go in there and say, oh, well, I'm going to box him. When I get in the ring, I can stand in front of him. I don't want to say I'm going to stand in front of him when I might have to box him.
Yeah. You're gonna
Yeah, of course. I'm the type of fighter that I make adjustments on the fly. So along my whole career, I do what's necessary to get the job done and secure a victory. And I feel like in the Canelo fight, I would do everything within my will and my power to do the same.
Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, Visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.